Welcome to class. My name is Christiane. Today for today's Hatha class, we'll be working on a grounding practice. So a practice that'll leave you feeling de-stressed and really present in the current moment. For today's class, you can grab a few blocks and we'll need a strap for today. So if you don't have a strap, you can always use a piece of rope, a belt, or anything that you have handy. So when you're ready, come and meet me on your mat in Shavasana. So laying on your back, taking the feet hip width or mat width apart. Bring the arms about 6, 8, maybe even 10 inches away from the body. And close the eyes. Starting our practice today in the ultimate grounding pose in our Shavasana. Scanning the body from the crown of the head all the way up, down to the toes. Take a moment and notice what parts of the body are touching the ground. So become aware of the heels, the calves, the sacrum, the back of the palms, the shoulder blades, and the back of the skull. Feel fully present here on your mat by drawing your awareness to your breath. Don't change it quite yet, but just observe your breath and how it moves through your body. And then slowly start to deepen the breath until you find a length that's relaxing. The breath is smooth, it's soft. With every cycle of breath, the body relaxes a little bit more. During our practice today, if the mind starts to wander, I want you to come back to your breath. Breath grounds us in the present moment and in our bodies. So setting that intention to always keep the breath in focus. Now let's begin our practice. Wiggle the fingers. Wiggle the toes. Give the head a little rock from side to side. And then reach the arms overhead, point the toes forward. Give yourself a nice big stretch. Bend the knees one at a time and draw the knees into the chest. Give yourself a squeeze here. Take a little rock from side to side. Massage any tension in your low and mid back. And then from here, let's take a really casual happy baby. So bring the hands behind the knees. And you're going to take the knees wide. Let the heels dangle towards the butt. So, option to stay here. Or, again, if you want, take a little rock from side to side. Massaging the lower back and the upper hips here. And then draw the knees back into the chest. Bring the soles of the feet onto the mat, taking the feet hip-width apart. So if you look forward, you should see your toes. All that you're going to see is your knees and your quads. Tuck the shoulder blades in a little bit. Neck is lifted, so feel the back of the skull on the mat. Feel the shoulder blades on the mat. Palms down. And on your next exhalation, I want you to lift the hips up towards the sky. Finding your bridge pose here, rooting through the mound of the big toe. And let's activate the whole backside of the body. So feel like you're drawing the heels towards the shoulders as you press the hips up a little bit higher. Keep rooting through all four sides of the feet. Keep the chest open. And bring your awareness to your breath. And then on your next exhalation, slowly lower back down to the mat. Untuck your shoulder blades. Extend the left leg up towards the sky. Cross the left ankle over top of the right knee. Bring the arms out to a T formation and slowly let the knees fall to the left. Rolling onto your left hip. Shoulder blades are both grounded down into the mat here. So if one is lifting up, lift up the shoulder blades and reset the upper body. Gaze is wherever's comfortable for the neck. And slowly bring the legs back to center. Extend the left leg up towards the sky and place that left foot back down. This time reach the right leg up to the sky and bring the right ankle over top of the left knee. From here, slowly let the legs fall all the way to the right. Again, if you need to shift those shoulders, doing so that both shoulder blades are firmly rooted down into the mat. The twist to happen organically, not rushing or pushing into that twist. Allow the weight of the legs to do the work here for you. And then slowly come back to center. Extend the right leg up for the sky. Bend the knee, bring that right foot down. Draw the knees into the chest, give yourself a tight squeeze. Again, let's find that modified happy baby. Bring the hands behind the knees. Let the heels dangle towards the butt. Take a little rock if you'd like to. and then draw the knees back into the chest. Let's cross the ankles, rock a few times forward and back. Give the spine a little massage here. And then make your way up into a seated position. So coming into a cross-legged position here. Feet are active, so I want you to feel like you're pulling the arches of the feet upwards. So flexing the feet, draw the knees in towards the hips. Sit up nice and tall and rock slightly forward onto the sit bones as you lift the chest. So the upper body is going to feel really light. Crown of the head reaches up for the sky. Sit up tall. Now on your inhalation, reach the arms up for the sky. And as you exhale, we're going to drop the left hand down to the mat, reaching that right arm up and over. Keeping that right sit bone down onto the ground. Keep the chest open. And then reach both arms up for the sky. Now as you exhale, bring that right hand down to the mat. Reach that left arm up and over. Press that left sit bone down into the ground. Keep softening that bottom elbow as you open the chest up. Keep drawing the arches of the feet upwards. And bring the arms back to center. Take a nice full breath in. And as you exhale, hinge at the hips and fold. Now walk the fingertips any amount forward. And then tuck the chin in. Let the upper body feel heavy. And if you're not feeling much sensation here, take a little rock in your seat from side to side. See if we can find any sticky parts. And if you do find one, stay there. Take a couple breaths. Slowly walk the hands back towards the torso. Bring the hands behind the back. We're going to lean back and cross our shins the opposite way. So again, let's find our seat here. So sitting up nice and tall, draw the arches of the feet up. Sliding slightly forward onto the sit bones, reach your arms up. And as you exhale, fold forward. Keeping this pose either dynamic or static, your choice here, so you can rock a little bit from side to side or just hold it there. Let gravity do the work for you as you melt into this pose. Slowly walk the hands back towards the torso. From here, let's lean back and extend the legs straight out in front of us. Dandasana, our staff pose. So, toes are pointed up towards the sky. And again, keep those feet really active here. Stick those legs together like glue. Draw the arches of the feet up. Imagine that you're trying to bring your femurs back into their hip socket. Hands come to the side of the body. Roll slightly forward onto the sit bones. Chest lifts, crown of the head reaches up for the sky. So feel the back of the legs rooted down into the mat. Feel the sit bones. Sit up tall. And this pose should feel like work. So basically, we're taking our halfway lift, but taking it into a seated position. Really working through the back side of the body, working that lower back. And then draw the soles of the feet together. Knees out to the side, scoot your butt forward, Baddha Konasana, or butterfly. Again, I want you to bring the hands to the sides here. Press the knees down using the strength into your glutes, into your thighs. And grow long through the sides of the waist. Soles of the feet might start to show, but you're really pressing down into the outside edge of those feet. And then let's bring the knees together and swing the legs around, coming into our tabletop on our hands and knees. So, hands directly underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Spread your fingers wide, root the underside of those knuckles down into the mat. Let's take a few cat-cows here. So as you inhale, drop the belly, tilt the tailbone up. And as you exhale, curl chin to navel, round the back. Inhale, roll forward. Exhale, round. Couple more here. Move with your breath. So allowing your inhales and exhale to cue you to move from one pose to the other. And then let's come back to a neutral table with a flat back. Finding our first downward facing dog of the day. Now, if you do have any blocks, just keeping them handy towards the top of the mat. If you don't have blocks, again, you can use anything lying around the house, some heavy books, or you don't need them today. It's an option to have them there. So let's tuck our toes under, lift the hips up, and walk out. Your dog, bend one knee, and then the other. And a little stretch through the hamstrings and calves. Pressing into the hands. So we're pressing the mat away here, bringing the chest a little bit closer to the thighs. And let's find 3 breaths in stillness in our downward facing dog. Looking at the hands, slowly walk to the top of your mat, finding a forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, release. Bend into the knees, reach the arms up. Bring the hands to heart center. Now let's find our mountain pose. Feet are hip width apart here. Roll the shoulders back, close the eyes. Feel all 4 corners of the feet. Open the eyes, reach your arms up. And as you exhale, swan dive to the mat. Halfway lift, reach the crown of the head forward, tailbone back. And as you exhale, plant the hands, step the left foot back, dropping the left knee. Now we've got a nice 90-degree bend through the front knee. Reach your arms up towards the sky, sink the hips forward, bend deeply through your right knee. Arms are reaching for the sky, but you feel still rooted down into your mat. Bring the hand down to the mat. Tuck your back toes under. Come back into a downward facing dog. Now looking at the hands, walk to the top of your mat. halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend into the knees, find a chair. Utkatasana. Inhale to rise. Exhale, hands to the sides. Mountain pose. Inhale, reach the arms up, nice big half circle. Exhale, fold forward, hinging at the hips. Halfway lift. Plant the hands, step the right foot back, dropping the right knee. And then reach the arms up towards the sky, sink the hips forward. Feel like you're maybe a flower or something like that. You know how they like to look for sunlight, but they're still firmly rooted into the ground. And they're reaching up, trying to reach for those sun rays. Bring the hands down to the mat. Tuck your back toes under. Step it back, downward facing dog. Now let's reach the left leg up towards the sky. And as you exhale, step the foot in between the hands. If it doesn't make it there, just inch it forward so you get that nice 90-degree bend. Bring that back foot to a 45-degree angle, and feet are staggered, so they're not one behind the other. So walk that left foot out to the side if you need to. Reach the arms up. Warrior one. So really root through that back heel. Let the tailbone be your anchor. Reach the fingertips up for the sky. And bring the hands down to the mat. Now, if you do have any blocks or books handy, and you would like to give downward facing dog a go with your blocks, you're going to bring your palms onto the block and bring the bottom of the palm closer to the edge. And then from here, let's step it back into our downward facing dog. Notice how the weight shifts a little bit more into the legs, drawing those heels even closer to the ground, or maybe they do make it all the way down to the ground now. Now let's reach the right leg up for the sky. And as you exhale, step the foot in between the hands. Drop that back heel to a 45-degree angle. Reach the arms up. Warrior one. Nice bend through the front knee. Root down through the outside edge of that back foot. And then bring the hands down to the mat or onto those blocks. Let's come back into that downward facing dog. Looking at the hands, walk, step, or maybe take a little hop to the top of your mat. Halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Bend into the knees, reach the arms up. Utkatasana, chair. And as you inhale, rise. And as you exhale, bring the hands to the sides. Roll the shoulders back. Close the eyes, mountain pose. Feel the body sway a little bit from side to side. Body's checking out all four corners of the feet. Trying to figure out where it is here in space when we close our eyes. And as you spend more time with the eyes closed, you start to feel that center point. Now open the eyes, reach the arms up to the sky. And as you exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift. Now plant the hands. We're going to step that left foot back as far back as it goes. And pivot the back foot so it becomes parallel to the short edge of your mat. Lifting the arms up into warrior two. So this is our widest stance here. My right knee is tracking over my second and third toe, and those back toes are slightly tucked inwards, so it's not exactly parallel to the short edge of the mat. This allows me to grip through the outside edge of my back foot, arms reaching forward and back, and finding that midpoint where the body is directly stacked over top of the hips. Now from here, straighten the front leg, press the hips back, and tip the arms vertically into your triangle. Now if you have a block handy, you can grab onto that block and bring the hand onto it. Reach the crown of the head forward, lengthen through both sides of the body. Gaze comes wherever's comfortable here for the neck. So typically we look upwards, but you can look forward or down. Up to you. This is your practice after all. Now root down through those feet. Let's come back to center. Flip the right palm over. Reverse your triangle. Notice the weight into the feet here. Shift from forward to back and back to forward. Oh, let's bring the hands all the way down to the mat or onto the blocks if you'd like to take downward facing dog with your blocks. And let's come back into downward dog. One more cycle of breath. Now looking at the hands, walk, step, or maybe hop to the top of your mat. Flat back as you inhale. Exhale, fold. Bend into the knees. Reach the arms up. Utkatasana. Stay here in your chair. Now the weight is slightly more into the heels, so I can see my toes. But toes are down onto the ground here. We're working into a grounding practice after all. I want you to feel all four corners of the feet. Thumbs reaching up and back. Inhaling to rise. And as you exhale, bring the hands to the sides, mountain pose. Feet are hip width apart. Roll the shoulders back. Inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift. And as you exhale, plant the hands. Step that right foot as far back as it goes. Pivot the foot so it becomes parallel to the short edge of your mat. Lifting the arms up into warrior two. So again, making sure we have that T formation with the feet. So front foot intersects the arch of the back foot or the back heel. Those back toes are slightly tucked inward, so I'm really rooting through the outside edge of my back foot. Nice deep bend through the front knee. Knees over that second and third toe for alignment. And body is directly stacked over top of the hips. Feel the strong legs. Feet are like roots, keeping the body upright, keeping us in this shape. Now straighten the front leg, reach forward. When you can't go any further, tip the arms vertically into your triangle. Again, you can use your block here, placing it about mid-shin level. Reach the crown of the head forward. Grow through both sides of the waist here. So we're not crunching into it, we're really reaching. Maybe even leaning back slightly to open the chest. Firm up into the legs, root down through the feet, come up to standing. Let's reverse a triangle, flip the left palm over, reach it behind you. Feel the front foot pushing the weight into that back heel. and then come back to center. Cartwheel the hands down to the mat or down onto your blocks for downward facing dog. Walk it out here, or simply find a downward facing dog for 2 breaths in stillness. Looking at the hands, walk, step, or hop to the top of your mat. Flat back as you inhale. Exhale, release. Now, if your hands make it down onto the ground, you're going to grab onto your big toe with your peace fingers. If your hands don't make it all the way down to the ground, that's okay. You can grab on behind the thighs or behind the calves, finding a nice deep forward fold here. So I'm going to grab onto my big toe with my peace fingers, elbows out to the side, using the strength into my arms and into my core to bring the chest closer to the thighs. Now the weight is going to want to shift into my heels, but I want to keep it fairly even. So shifting the weight slightly forward to all 4 corners of the feet. Notice if that changes the feeling in the back of the leg. So maybe you're going to feel that opening into the hamstrings a little bit more as you shift the weight forward. Now release your big toe, release your calves if you have grabbed onto your calves. Bend the knees, sink the hips, Utkatasana chair. Inhaling to rise. And as you exhale, bring the hands to the sides. So, just because we're doing a grounding practice doesn't mean that we're not going to do any balance poses today. We're going to be working on our tree pose. So, let's start to shift the weight into the right foot. Maybe even can lift the toes and spread them onto the mat. I know it sounds weird, but give it a try. Now from here, open the left knee out to the left. If balance is an issue, you can always grab onto a chair or come onto the wall for that extra little bit of support. Toes can also stay on the mat here, so just bringing the heel to the side of that right leg. Or you can bring it into the calf, or maybe even all the way up into the groin, skipping the knee altogether. So finding where is most comfortable for you today. If you're wearing slippery pants like I am, it'll probably be on the calf. And bring the hands to heart center. So find a point of focus, something that's not moving. So, not me. I sway a little bit from side to side. Feel all 4 corners of the feet. And once you find that center point of balance, start to open the arms up, spread the fingers wide. Really root down through that right foot, press into it, grow taller. Little windy, that's okay. Let's bring those hands back to heart center. Bring the knee forward. Extend the legs straight out, point the toes, lift it as high as you can. And bring the foot down, shake it out. Okay, 2 sides, 2 feet. Let's start by firmly rooting that left foot down into the mat, spread the toes, and bring the right knee out to the right. And again, choosing wherever you'd like to place your foot today. I'm going to place it to the inside of my calf. And from here, press the hands to heart center. Now, if you do have the foot into the groin, I want you to press that left hip and left leg really into the foot and the foot into the leg. So there's this pressure on both sides. Find your balance point. ready, open up the arms, spread the fingers, grow into a nice big oak tree, and grow tall through the sides of the waist. So really press into that bottom foot, grow an inch taller. And then bring the hands to heart center. Extend the foot, the leg in front of you, the knee. Extend the foot straight. Lift it as high as you can. And step the foot down. Give it a good shake. Good job. Now from here, let's come back into our mountain pose. Roll those shoulders down the back. Palms open. Feet are hip width apart. Close the eyes. Observing if the body is swaying a little more, a little less, or maybe same as before. I feel a little more connected to the mat, so feel all four corners of the feet. Open the eyes. Reach the arms up for the sky as you inhale. And as you exhale, hinge at the hips and fold forward. Halfway lift. Plant the hands. Let's come into a plank just for a brief second here. Drop down onto the knees and make your way all the way down onto your belly. Now, we're going to bring those arms out to the side a little bit. Elbows are going to be pointed up towards the sky. So we got little spidey fingers here. Now we're rooting through the shoelace part of our shoes, so the tops of the feet. We're rooting down through the pubic bone and through the fingertips. And we're going to take 3 cobras. So as you inhale, root down through the pubic bone, press into those fingers, lift the shoulders, lift the chest. Exhale, release. Inhale, lift, press into those feet. Exhale to lower. One last time. Inhale, lift it up. Press into the feet, press down into the mat. Exhale, release. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Come onto the hands and knees. Let's take those knees mat width apart. Bring the big toes to touch. Sink the hips back towards the heels. Extend the arms forward into a child's pose. Head comes down onto a block or down onto the mat. And we're going to make this pretty passive, so elbows come down onto the mat. Let the body relax. Let the belly fall down towards the ground. Take a moment to bring your awareness back to your breath. Slowly press up onto the hands and knees, swaying the legs around, coming to seated. So from here, let's find Dandasana once more, staff pose. Glue those legs together. Toes are reaching up for the sky. Pull the arches, the feet up. Roll slightly forward onto the sit bones, lift the chest. And then from here, let's bend the left knee. Bring it closer to the groin. And give that knee a good hug. So give it a little squeeze here. And then release the leg. Leave that foot exactly where it is. Bring the right fingertips behind the body. And then reach the left arm up. We're going to bring it to the outside of the right leg. And find an open twist to the right here. Continue to grow tall through the sides of the waist. Keep rooting the sit bones down and rooting that left foot down into the mat. Now come through center. Reach the arms up for the sky. And as you exhale, hinge at the hips, reaching forward. Maybe the hands just come to the sides, maybe they come onto the leg, or perhaps grabbing onto the foot. And if binding is in your practice and you want to feel like you're tucked into a tiny little ball today, you're going to bring that left arm around the left knee and grab on behind the back, still folding forward though. Feel the sit bones really sinking down into the mat. If you have a bind, release your bind, and let's all come up to seated. Keep the leg in one more time here. This time bring the left fingertips behind the body, reach the right arm up, and let's twist to the left. Right elbow comes to the top of the knee, or maybe wrapping it around the thigh. Sit up tall. And twisting here from the belly and from the rib cage. Trying to keep the chin in line with the collarbone so that we're not wrenching into the neck. Come back to center. Release that left foot down onto the mat. Give it a little windshield wipe, a little tap. And then let's bend the right knee into the chest. Give it a squeeze, give it a hug. Release the hug. And let's bring the left fingertips behind the body. Right arm comes to the outside edge of the left leg, finding an open twist to the left. Feel all four corners of the right foot into the mat. Feel the left heel down into the ground. And come back to center. Reach the arms up to the sky. And as you exhale, fold forward any amount here. Maybe grabbing onto the foot or finding that little bit of a bind. And it's okay to have a bit of a curve here in the spine. Our backs are not a straight shape. Curl into it a little bit, that's fine. Feel the back of the left leg rooted down into the mat. Release your bind if you have a bind, and make your way back up into that seated position. One more twist here, a closed twist. So bring the right fingertips behind the body. As you inhale, reach the left arm up. And as you exhale, twist to the right. crown of the head reaching up for the sky. Slowly come back to center. Extend the legs straight out in front of you. Now take the legs as wide as is comfortable here. Doesn't have to be super wide. Roll forward onto the sit bones in any amount. Fold forward. Toes are pointed up towards the sky. Feel the back side of the legs rooted down into the mat. Walk the hands back towards the torso. Grab on behind the knees. Bring the soles of the feet together to touch. Scoot your butt forward. Finding your butterfly pose. Baddha Konasana. Sit up nice and tall. Reach the crown of the head up. And then bring those knees together. Soles of the feet down onto the mat. Making sure there's enough room behind you to roll down. And we're going to grab on to our straps. So again, if you don't have a strap, a belt will work, or rope. So let's come down onto our backs, which always feels so good. I could do this 100 times, and whenever I roll down on my back, it's always blissful. Now from here, I'm going to extend my left leg up towards the sky and place the strap around the ball of the foot. So it's not directly on the arch. It's a little bit closer to the ball. So I'm flexing my toes so the strap stays on. Wrap my arms, elbows out to the side. Now, if you're feeling pretty open through the backs of the legs and the hips, you can actually straighten that right leg down to the mat. We're gently drawing that left thigh in towards the torso. Feel the hips and the sacrum rooted down into the mat. Now grab onto the strap with only the right hand. And bring that left arm out to the side, palm facing down. And then slowly roll onto your right hip. Now, this left shoulder may want to lift up. So what you're going to do is you're just going to lift both shoulders and place the shoulder blades back down onto the mat so that at least you're a little bit closer to the ground if those shoulder blades aren't touching. One last breath. And then slowly come back to center. Bend into the left knee. And let's bring that right foot into the strap and switch out the feet. So extending the right leg up towards the sky. And you can leave that left foot down onto the ground. Or extend the left leg straight, but still press through the sole of the foot. Gently Draw that right thigh bone in towards the torso. And then grab onto the strap with only the left hand. Bring that right arm out to the side, palm facing down. Pull the leg across the body, rolling onto the left hip. Again, adjusting those shoulders if you need to. Gaze comes wherever's most comfortable for the neck. Slowly bring the leg back to center. Bend the right knee. Remove the strap, place it off to the side. We're all done with that strap. And then from here, bring the knees to 90 degrees like you were sitting in a chair. Let the heels dangle towards the butt and simply place the hands onto the kneecaps. Pointed up towards the sky so you feel back of the skull rooted down into the mat. The neck isn't flat here. It's nice and curved and off the mat. Feel the shoulder blades. Feel the sacrum all rooted down. Notice the small rise of the low back. And then bring the knees into the chest. Give yourself a squeeze. One more happy baby here. Again, you can take the modified version of it. So bring the hands behind the knees. Let the heels fall towards the butt. Take a little rock from side to side. Draw the knees back into the chest one final time. So if there's any last pose or movement that your body still needs today, feel free to do so. If not, let's just extend those legs, hip width or mat width apart. Bring the arms to the sides. Ending our final Shavasana. Come back to your breath. Allow the breath to deepen a little bit, lengthening your inhales and exhales. you'd like a few extra minutes here in your Shavasana, feel free to press the pause button. Stay here for as long as you'd like, as long as you need. And if the body feels recharged, start to bring some movement back into the fingers, into the toes. Rock your head from side to side. Reach the arms overhead, point the toes forward. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale out of the mouth. Roll onto your right hand side, coming into a fetal pose. And keep the eyes light. Press yourself up to seated. Bring your hands to heart center, bowing your head. So taking a moment here, thanking yourself for making it to your mat today. Yoga is a great outlet to de-stress and to ground ourselves in the present moment. Remembering to take time throughout the week, so whether that's coming back here to your mat or perhaps taking another class, enjoying a hot chocolate, tea, or reading your favorite book, taking a moment for yourself and finding something that grounds you and helps relieve any extra stress that you may be feeling. So I want to wish you all a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you again soon. Namaste.